that's good. Before we wrap up, the last question we wanted to just ask you is about sort of how, investment management firms like yours, how they may look at this sort of work from home, remote work thing that the pandemic has obviously put many companies, I think you guys are probably almost all remote now, and how that's been, I mean, some of the struggles that maybe you faced with doing it or not, and then just, how you think it may change sort of workplace habits and, this remote work thing going forward, if you think that's going to be a trend that's going to continue, or just what your thoughts are.
Sure. So the first thing I would note is that I am lucky to be in an industry that is uniquely able to take advantage of letting people work from home. Because essentially, I joke that, we're symbol manipulators, right? Everything we do is determining value and investing in things, but you can do that all from anywhere. I used to joke, as long as I've got one of these with me, and you probably can't see it because of the, here we go. Yeah, this is fake back here, of course, too. So because of that, I've always been like a massive early adopter to technology. I love technology. I was one of the first people online. I bought the first Mac. I bought the first iPhone. I had phones back when, you could still clone the number by just having one of those radio things. But so when we started OSAM, I said to the president of my firm, Chris Lovelace, because it was 07 when we started it and we're going into 08, I said, look, we're probably going to have to spend most of this time just keeping people calm and not, don't jump out the window. So I want the best technology we can have. And so the first 3 years, Chris took that and ran with it. And so our technology was fabulous. And again, as part of the regulatory system that oversees us, you have to have a backup plan, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have disaster recovery. And that used to be another office, right? Located elsewhere on a different power grid. But as tech became cheaper and cheaper, we elected to say, let's just duplicate everyone's workspace in their home. So my head trader, she has her 4 screens. She has a duplication of her trading environment at our physical office in her home. Same with all my portfolio managers, my portfolio researchers, everyone, our salespeople. So they can all do everything that they would do at the office from their home. I've also been a big advocate for a long time before crisis of, look, I'm not running a kindergarten here. I'm not going to take attendance. I hire adults who I expect are going to do their job. And if adult A is going to do his or her job better from home or from somewhere else, fine. And so when this crisis happened, we already had everyone at the firm set up so that they could duplicate everything they did in the office from their homes. B, we have kept our offices here in Connecticut closed and probably will keep them closed through the end of summer. But one thing that we have already said is if any of our employees want to continue to work from home, that's fine with us. And so I think that certain industries like our own, like technology certainly, are going to be much more, what you're going to see is an acceleration of a trend that already was happening. And I think that for the most part, that's a really good thing. If people are more productive at home, great. Now, I do have some worries, right? One of the things that we found is some of my employees, my colleagues, are working more from home than they did when at the office because, we're all mental creatures, right? And office time was work and home time was home. And there was a big distinction there. And now we've actually had to say to people, no, you take 2 days off, shut the computer, play with your kids, talk to your wife or husband. So that's a challenge. I think that if you have people who are the managers pointing that out, that can be managed. The thing that I'm still wondering about is I certainly hope that when the crisis dissipates and we can return to some normalcy in our seeing each other. One of the things that I don't think you can quantify, coming from a quant, is things that happened that weren't planned. And by that I mean, I've had a lot of experiences where I'm sitting with a colleague at lunch and we're talking about different things. And then all of a sudden one of us says, hey, did you ever think that maybe we should test, X? And it wasn't in the work plan. It wasn't in the, and it was just that spur of the moment conversation between two colleagues that highlighted and upgraded an idea and a thought. And I think that is still going to be something that needs in person, right? So, if I had my perfect world, I would say that, teams could get together physically at least twice a month. And even if it's just for lunch and conversation and, sort of seeing how things are going, just because it's those unplanned exchanges where you see a lot. It's the old joke about the apple hitting Newton on his head, right? When he was sitting under the tree. Hey, wait a minute. And then, of course, we got Newtonian physics. So a lot happens that isn't planned. And some of it's bad, but a lot of it's good. So I think that sort of the perfect mix for me would be getting together. I think a lot of things need to be in person. So if I was going to negotiate with you guys for something, right? I don't know. I'm going to buy your company or whatever. Boy, that needs to be in person because we
want $20 million, by the
way. Pass. Okay. Now you just proved me that I'm a liar. I pass. That's all we need. But the point is that if you study human behavior as long as I have, it's like a long time ago, people would come to me and they'd say, well, I want to be in asset management. What should I study? Should I major in finance? And I went, no, study evolutionary psychology and biology and understand human beings. You'll be able to figure out the math part. Mostly if the math is higher than arithmetic, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose your money anyway, right? So, but there are certain things that need in person because we are complicated creatures, right? We're quantum beings living in a Newtonian world. And so there's all sorts of micro expressions. There's breathing patterns. There's body language that you see when we're sitting opposite each other at lunch, for example, that you don't see through screens. And the other thing that I would say about screens is that many people, not everyone obviously, but many people seem to remove some governors when they're saying something through a screen that they wouldn't say in person, right? And a lot of that leads to bad things. Right. People say things that in a more nuanced situation, they certainly wouldn't say. If you guys were sitting on either side of me, I probably would say everything I've said, but if something controversial came up and you had a very, serious opinion, I'm not going to call you an idiot or moron, And so sometimes I always believe that people with great ideas argue the ideas. People without great ideas label and call names, right? Because you got it. If you got all the facts on your side, guess what you're going to argue? You're going to argue the facts. If you don't, you're going to call names. You're going to label. You're going to do all that, and that's going to reveal a weak argument. because you would have made a better argument if you had it. But so I definitely think that we will see a boost to work from home. I don't think it will take off entirely. That's again, recency bias. Everyone's doing it now, so they think that everyone's going to continue doing it. Look, human beings, we're gregarious beasts. I have a favorite author who calls us domesticated primates. And you know, we kind of are. But part of that is people. Unless you are an odd type person, you want to be around other people. You want to share with family, with friends, with all of that, colleagues. And so I think that with luck, industries that can reach a nice balance, like our industry, will, and that's great. I think that, you know, it's not so great for people who are like, say, pure based just entirely on work product, because suddenly a lot of your competition now is anyone who can hook up to the internet, right? And you don't have to have the ability to move to San Francisco if you want to work in tech, or move to New York if you want to work in finance. And that precluded a lot of people, right? If this trend just does accelerate, the competition is going to be a lot tougher, because you're going to be competing with people who, you know, they're super bright and they don't want to live in New York, but now they have the opportunity to work for a world-class company. It'll be interesting.